Well, hello everyone. September already. Unbelievable. Where has the month gone? I hope you've all been enjoying getting out riding, although the weather's been very changeable. One day it was so hot I couldn't actually bear putting my motorcycle stuff on, so I decided to get it cycling instead. That was much cooler. And then of course the next day it poured with rain. Unbelievable. Anyway, this is going to be a little bit longer than my usual weekly ones used to be. I decided that as it's now monthly, it'd be a much better idea if I did a 40-minute slot video, and you can have an intermission halfway through, or take it into lots of little bits if you want. So yes, we're heading off to the seaside. It's such a lovely day, and I thought, no, let's get down to the sea and enjoy that lovely light that you get by the seaside. I just love it. So that's off towards a place called Sandside, which is it's actually the Kent estuary, which is the top end, so to speak, of Morecambe Bay. And the River Bella, which we've just passed over, that leads into the Kent estuary, along with the River Kent, which passes through Kendal from up in the hills above Kendal. And yes, a lovely stretch of the bay just there, lovely and sandy. I say sandy, it's a sort of a mix of sand and mud, but it looks like sand. Beautiful little run down. So we're going to be stopping and have a little look across the bay. In fact, we're just coming up to it now. Look. So what we're seeing there, that's the Southern Lakeland Fells. We're looking across towards Grangeover Sands, which is misnamed, I have to say, and Ulverston, and further along it goes towards Cartmel, Barrow, Barrow-in-Furness. And it's a lovely stretch of the coast this is. So we're pulling a bit further along, and full stop. I hope you've all been keeping well. I'm much improved. My eyesight has improved enormously over the rather worrying period of a couple of weeks where my left eye was a bit blurry, and it did seem to go on for a rather long time, but with some drops that I now take, that's sorted that out a treat. And it's great to be out riding again today. Such a beautiful day. Just a few little clouds look across the fells. So we're just pulling here for a moment, but the view's better actually a bit further down, so we're pulling for a longer period a bit further down. Now today we're on Hurricane, and we're not using the little beeline because I know this. I know where I'm going. I hope I do anyway, and more or less. So I decided not to bother putting that on. And as you can see, it's gone back to the centre of the bars. It may stay there, it may not. I have to see. So we're just pulling over here, look, and have a little look across that lovely stretch of sand and water. That's looking across towards Grangeover Sands. I say it's misnamed. It's because there's an awful lot of grass growing now over there when you look across. And if you live at Grange, what you see is Morecambe. Well, I'd much rather live in Morecambe and look across the Grange personally, but I'm sure it's very hilly actually too, Grange over Sands. And I was over there one winter, and God, dear, slippery. Yeah, so not. There we are, Horrigan. Lovely machine. Right, we'll be on our way then. We'll be on our way towards Ironside. And nice little run over there. And as I think I said before, I've cut right back on the amount of screen time because I found it made my eyes very sore to actually use the screen. But I have been watching a few of my fellow motor vloggers, and thoroughly enjoyed Mercy Moto. Old n-Goldie has popped a couple up, and I was rather touched actually to hear that I had a very small influence in getting him to do his own videos. That was lovely of you, Rog, to mention me like that. Thank you. And I'm pleased that you're now able to, what you were able before your accident, able to record. And I think that's a lovely thing about doing this this filming, is that you can look back in the future over rides that you've done and enjoy them all over again, and see things actually that you didn't notice or perhaps on the ride in the first place. Certainly that's true for me. That's one of the main reasons I do it, and it's nice to share what we see with others. And thank you too for everyone for your patience over this last month. I really appreciate that, the fact that you haven't left me in droves. In fact, I've gained a few more despite not having put any videos up. So that's been lovely thought that you perhaps been watching some of my older ones, previous ones. Well, I shan't be talking quite so much on this this ride because obviously it's longer, so talking for 40 minutes will be a bit much, wouldn't it? But one of my subscribers, who's probably left me now actually, he did ask me, could I talk 10 to 20% less please? Well, what he doesn't know is, of course, my mum used to say to me, I think you must have been vaccinated with a gramophone needle, Peter. You talk so much. Yeah, I do talk quite a lot, I have to say, but I should refrain a little in this ride. Going to go off to the right here into Ironside. Yeah, this is a lovely village, this and Silverdale, which we'll also be going through. When I first moved up here, I looked on a map and saw I thought, wonder what they're like, and of course, having now been quite familiar with both villages, they are delightful, and I can see why they're so popular for retiring to. I mentioned when I used to live in the south of England to someone I worked with that he said, "Oh, you ought to go to Ironside." He says, "There's a wonderful fish and chip shop there." So when I was up here, I thought, you know, Nick said, nice fish and chip shop here. So yeah, went in there. Oh, it was awful, horrible fish and chips. That was then. They've changed hands now and are much better apparently. But when I got back, I said, oh, Nick, I did try that fish and chip shop, and didn't think much of it. Well, what did you have? I said, well, I had fish and chips. Oh, I never have the fish. He said, I always have sausages. I thought, whoa, for goodness sake. Quite a stiff climb for a cyclist, this one. However, not on the Royal Enfield Hunter, of course. Just leaving Arnside behind and heading off towards Silverdale now. Quite a long strung out place actually, Arnside. There's been a lot of development there, but yeah, it must be a nice place to live, and you can just now see the coast again. Mentioned once before a chap called Hugh Ferrer, who has a BSA C15. The BSA C15 was a 250cc motorcycle from the 1960s, and he rides that up in Scotland. And I was quite amused because he said that a recent ride, but over 200 miles ride on it. And it just goes to show you don't need a large machine to have a lot of fun or go fairly long distances. But he did take digestive biscuits, and when he arrived to eat them, there was just crumbs. And I do remember that from my own C15. He also had to top up the gearbox oil halfway, and I also had that problem. Gearbox oil used to leak out of the gearbox into the case next to it. and along the gear change and kickstart shaft. And nowadays I could have solved that probably by rebushing it and done all that sort of work, but back then in the 60s and 70s I didn't have the machinery to do that. But also, I mean, you know, it's caused by vibration, and that's one of the things that I first discovered when I got my meter back in 4 years, nearly, yeah, when I ordered it was a long time ago, but it's about 3.5 years ago now. And first ride on it, I thought, wow, this is so smooth. I couldn't believe how smooth it was compared with machines I was used to. So yeah, wonderful it was, a revelation. And that's really why I wouldn't get a classic machine. Not only do I have a classic car I have to maintain, but maintaining 2 classic machines would be just too much. But also the vibration, and my BSA twin that I had, I remember buying in Portsmouth. I used to live about 10 miles away from Portsmouth, and to get anything you had to go into Portsmouth. There's this lovely, oh yes, lovely bay. You do have to be careful though. You want to go on the sands, I wouldn't recommend it. Definitely not. There's quite a few tractors and vehicles have gone out onto the sands and never been seen again. And yes, so there's a hovercraft actually at the we've got two lifeboat stations, and one of them has a hovercraft to get across the sands for people in difficulties. Dogs go missing, things like that. So yes, you do have to be very careful. And where was I? Oh yes, I bit the BSA. Yeah, bought this. Bought a can, 5 litre can of cuprinol, spirit-based wood preserver in chestnut. It was the colour, to preserve the wood around our bungalow, house it was in. And I strapped it onto the rack of the BSA, and rode back along the M27. I think we've only been open not that long actually, and I suppose I must have been riding like about a steady 55 to 60 along there, and I got back home and the vibration had perforated the can, causing it to leak out over the back wheel, up my back, all over the back of the bike. Not all of the cuprinol had come out fortunately, but enough to ruin the jacket that I had, and it took me forever to clean. In fact, I never really did get the bike clean again. It stained everything very badly. So yes, if you're ever tempted to get a classic machine, beware the vibrations. Certainly not good vibrations, I don't think anyway. But there we are, that's part of the charm and the charisma of owning a classic machine. For me, thank you. Well, here we are, coming to the charming village of Silverdale, the retirement place of choice for doctors, apparently. They do have a railway station, but it is some way from the village. And there aren't that many trains a day. But it's a lively, bustling place. It's always busy in the town centre or village centre, as we shall see. Some lovely houses. See, charming is the word, isn't it? Roses round the door. Line's going to tell me that, that's really on. field over there with the sheep. Yes, I have a friend whose father grew up in the post office in Silverdale. You should enjoy watching this, I'm sure. This is where it all happens. Well, it is today anyway. A few useful shops. Through here, I thought it was very narrow because on two wheels I didn't have to worry about it. I came through my camper van and it did seem a bit on the narrow side. Doesn't seem so now though. This bit bit narrow for two vehicles passing. This whole area in the past, and probably and still is of course, very popular for retirement from the Yorkshire towns such as Bradford, Huddersfield, places Leeds, and to holiday as well of course. And you can quite see why, can't you? I mean it's a lovely area. And it's unspoiled. I think that's another lovely aspect of it. It's not one of your honey pots like Ambleside and Grasmere. Well, yes, I wasn't paying attention there. Yeah, never mind. We're on the right road now. Well, in a moment we're going to cross that railway line again. We'll go over it this time rather than under it. Same railway line. And to our left is the railway station for Silverdale, so you can see it's quite a long way out. one day I shall cross here. I have to wait and there'll be a train passing. Not today. Well, up over there is the limestone crag, Wharton Crag, and we're going to run up over that. Come off this more major road and take a little lane up over it. There is just over on the left there's a chimney, and I presume that chimney was pretty old. It must date from when they used to burn the limestone to put on the fields as a fertilizer. Just up here on the left hand side, I think you can catch a glimpse of it just before we take the turn up the little lane anyway. Yes, there. Yeah, there's a little footpath leads off down to the left there. Not really rideable. So yes, up here on Wharton Crag, and we'll make a little stop at the top and look out over the bay again. Don't get too much traffic coming up over here because it's not the main road, but it's a very pleasant little run over. And this leads down to the village of Wharton, bottom end. One or two of you may remember that I joined the BSA Owners Club, thinking to myself I might be tempted to a classic BSA, perhaps a Barracuda or Starfire or maybe an A65. Well, I've been keeping an eye on them, but I have to say I think that the classic motorcycle market, which was very buoyant a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, seems not to be so now, because there was in fact a BSA, I think it was a Starfire or something like that, which was they wanted £2,000 for it. Now, bearing in mind, for £2,500 you can get a very almost new Royal Enfield Hunter it's only done about 360 miles. For £2,500, it didn't really seem as though it would be worth buying. But you'd have to really want a classic machine. I'm not really sure the Starfire was a classic. It used to suffer from a too high compression ratio, and used to knock out the bottom ends on them anyway. So I wasn't tempted. I must say that sun's a bit dazzling. I'm riding right into it. Entrance to the disused quarry is along here on the left hand side, the sloop, and it's a favourite for walkers. You do get good views from up there. Just up in there, I think. Pull in here and have a little look across that stone wall. It's looking out towards Lancaster and Morecambe Bay over on the right hand side there. Right, we'll carry on our merry way down the hill into Warton. Right, well yes, this is Warton. I'm going to take a turn to the right. We've left Warton behind, and now we're on the back road around Carnforth. So we're avoiding Carnforth town centre, where it's very busy. I'm going to pop under a couple of railway lines here. Carnforth is very much a railway town still. And I've actually been along here once before. That was, must be getting over a couple of years ago now, 18 months certainly. And that was my first visit along here. I remember going very slowly, riding very slowly, not going much faster now, but a bit faster than I was then. I think I was doing to 10 miles an hour. In fact, I did have a comment from someone who said expected a cyclist to come past me any moment. It's a favourite walking place, and very nice it is too. It's away from the very busy town centre of Carnforth, and it makes a nice cut off from that town. And especially on a day like today, it's just beautiful to ride along here. Place to pull up on your motorhome and just enjoy the environment. Carnforth up over on the right hand side. I think it's Craig Bank area. Lovely little places just through here. As you saw, favourite for cycling. Nice and flat. Relatively flat. Yeah, I'm just coming to the residential area now. Come on up to the main road, which is the A6. So we've cut off the whole of Carnforth. Just going over the railway again. This is the West Coast main line. We're just going over here. And that's all the way from London, all the way to Edinburgh, Glasgow, and points beyond. Yeah, it did actually look at this area. When we're coming up here, thinking we might choose one of the bungalows around here, but there were none available that we liked very much. So we're nearly at the end of our ride, just coming up to the A6, and so I'll leave you here and say thanks very much for watching this one, and I'll see you again in a month's time.